Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? I'm here with a special guest today, guys. He came to, so we're having Yellow City Comedy right now, man. And he came all the way from Austin, Texas, and I invited him in here, dude, and he's here, bro. Everybody, I want you all to meet, again, coming all the way from Austin, Texas. A great man, dude, and he's such a good comedian. Everybody, please welcome Roderick Mcdaniel.
Yo,
Round of
what's
applause,
up?
ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? How y'all doing?
How you been, man? Welcome to Amarillo.
Dude, thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm having a blast.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Hey, so yeah, dude, just let me explain how I met you. So Clemente, Matt Villegas.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a big supporter of him. He was, he's just, he was one of those guys up there, right?
Yeah.
And met the guy, I like him. I'm a big supporter. And he came on my show last year. Good guy. And then after that, he went back to Austin. Now I'm, doing my thing. I'm continuing my life and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a show on Facebook. It showed us like a sponsor thing right there, and it said there's 2 comedians coming in. And then I was all like, all right, cool. I wonder what that's about. I gotta work. And then after that, I was just kind of like scrolling on Instagram, and then Matt was like, hey, I'm gonna be in Amarillo, and it showed you and what was his name again? That guy?
Cody Myers.
Cody Myers. So both of y'all were on that show, and I was like, oh, and Matt's gonna be there. So I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get off work, and I'm going to go ahead and go. So I went. I just got off work, went. Yeah. And then that's when I met, as I got there, Cody Myers was, he was doing his thing. He was doing good.
Yeah.
And then you went up there, and you crushed it real bad. Crushed it.
We had a great night that night.
Yeah, man. Now, the thing is, like, I've learned about the scene here is, like, we have a lot of different parts of town. You have different parts of people. Yeah. So that when y'all had more of the redneck kind of, country style cowboy, you had that crowd. And I was just thinking in my head, like, man, I wonder what would happen if you were to go to like the north side of town, this side of town, the south side of town. And I was like, man, I wonder how different that would have been. But in the end of the day, y'all did good, man. And I will say this too, man. I will never forget the set you said, and this is what you said, dude. You're all like, I'm never coming back to Amarillo. I'm never coming back. Did you?
Yes.
Are you from Amarillo?
Yeah, I lived here, from 95 to 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started comedy here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so when I started, the Amarillo Comedy Club was still downtown.
Okay.
Back in the day, the Moran brothers ran it. Okay. And what a lot of people don't know is that Kristen Key, Daryl Felsberg, and I all came out of that club together.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, Amarillo had like a legacy of comedy, man, where people were going off from here and doing it big on a big level. Kristen went out to L.A. and she was doing good. Daryl owns the Tower City Comedy Club in Paris, Texas, does the Tower City Comedy Festival. Uh-huh. So yeah, he did some stuff with Last Comic Standing. So
we've had a comedy. We have y'all were like the pioneer.
Yeah, man. When I got to it, I want to say I didn't get to it till about 2002.
Okay. Wow.
When I got here, man, it was the club had been established, and they had dudes like Joe the One-Armed Mexican, Billy Goforth, Aaron Baker. And I think Aaron Baker's a professor either at WT or at AC now. Mm-hmm. But these were all comics, man. We were all basically the open mic scene.
Wow.
And we were all, going up, running bits and trying to, figure out this whole comedy thing back in the day, man.
Okay.
So it was cool.
So it was because Matt, he tried building the scene here. So you were before them then, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had been here. Good God. I'd have to ask Matt, man, but I left in 2012, and it was just kind of like, hey, I'm getting ready to hit the road. I'm ended up in Oklahoma. I don't get to Austin until about 2014. Mm-hmm. So I was just out kind of gigging, doing my thing, low key unknown. Wow. But whenever they picked it up, like when I started seeing the name Yellow City, I'd been gone, I think, around 2016, that name started popping up in my feed a lot more.
Wow, okay.
So then when I came back, I want to say Austin Hewlin and Matt were doing a show, and we did one downtown at a bar on Polk Street.
Okay.
And man, they packed that room out for us. We did a 2-night run before we went to Vegas for some shows. And that was my first time meeting Matt and working with him. and we just hit it off. First night I meet him, and I was like, this is my dog. So this is who I'm rolling with for now. And then when he came to Austin, man, he jumped into the scene down there, and he hit the ground running.
Oh yeah.
So he and I kept crossing paths down there, but we'd met here doing that show, and it was, it was kind of like, oh, Yellow City's doing this, Yellow City's doing that. But then I knew there were other people in Yellow City, because that's when I started hearing about, Lubbock, and then that was like back in the day when I was doing comedy, there was nobody running comedy out of Lubbock, man. So it was cool to see that Yellow City blew up that much. But I was like, I got to work with these dudes, man, because those my two connects were Matt and Austin here in Amarillo, and that was like, these are my two dudes. So
okay. So what was it before? What was it called before?
It was just, man, it didn't have a name for the scene. It literally was the Amarillo Comedy Club, and it was just the club was giving all of us time. And it was old school. They ran it like an old school club. So like you would come in on, I want to say Thursday nights and do the open mic, but you were seating people, you were taking out trash, you were bussing tables, you were doing cold opens. It was like a comedy boot camp, man. You were going to get the reps, and you were going to work in the club. You basically worked at the club for them. And, but they gave you so much stage time, and you saw so many great headliners, man, because I don't think people understood, like I-40 is a major highway. So comedians that were going to Cali were cutting through here all the time. So in fact, back in the day before Brett Kreischer broke big, I saw him at the Amarillo Comedy Club.
Wow.
Before there was a machine, before that story exists, I saw Brett Kreischer. So it was one of those things where it was like, there's some legacy stories in the comedy scene here before Yellow City had showed up. But man, everybody, by that point, Kristen was already out in LA. I think she had done Last Comic Standing. Felsberg was headed out there, so he wasn't here anymore. I had tried out for a pilot with a show with VH1, so I was barely here anymore.
Wow.
And so we were all kind of like this, three of us were gone. And then when I came back, I was kind of, I was dealing with some other stuff, like with the family. So it looked like everybody thought I quit comedy. And I was like, I ain't quit. I'm just busy, and I'm trying to pursue some other paths. But what happened was, man, I was like, one day I got a call, and they were like, yeah, Amarillo Comedy Club's closing. And I think it was like the three Moran brothers, Kelly, Kevin, and Kenny. And two of the three had passed, and so I think it only left Kevin. And I stayed in touch with Kevin for years, man, but I don't think he wanted to run it without his two brothers anymore. So it was one of those things, man. So it kind of felt like, oh, comedy is gonna fall off to the wayside. But I always feel like, man, if you got two people that care about it, it'll never fall to the wayside. Somebody will reinvent it some way, and they did. You guys did a great job of reinventing that here. So
yeah, because then after that I met Matt, and then Matt and whoever else kind of started it, and they just kind of went off from there.
Yeah, man. And I don't even know. I stay in touch with Austin. In fact, what's so funny, Matt and I did a show in New Braunfels last week, and we hadn't worked on a gig together in a while, but it was so cool to see him at that show, and he murdered.
Yeah.
Oh, he killed. He made it easy for me to go out and close it. I was like, yeah, okay. That lineup was stacked, and it was like Matt. Oh,
that's all right.
Yeah, it was Matt. It was Allison Voidovich, Simply Courtney, and then Jordan Yates was at this new club called Tom's Comedy Club down there in New Braunfels.
Okay.
And that's a baby scene that's starting to blow up.
Oh, nice.
And so Jordan Yates is running this show at Tom's, and it was like, oh my God, I'm on a set with all my favorite people. Like these, like even outside of comedy, these are some of my favorite human beings. And man, Matt and I was out front just cutting up the whole time, waiting before to go on for the set. And then when the show started, we walked in there and watched everybody's sets and sat with each other, talked after the show for a while, hung out. But yeah, man, it was cool because I just remember when he came from here down there, there was a thing, a couple of guys saw him, and they said, man, is everybody out of Amarillo just coming here cooking? And I say, yeah, I think we're built different up in the Panhandle, man. Yeah. We are our own entertainment.
Yeah,
so
straight up. We really are.
Yeah, we have to create our own entertainment up there. Yeah. So what happened was, I was like, yeah, when they come from here and they come down here, they feel more polished. They feel more stage ready. that was one of the first things that everybody noticed about Matt, and they always said about me. It's like, you guys kind of came in ready to go to the next level. And I was like, yeah, but y'all didn't see the first reps we took up there.
Yeah.
You saw the polished version that came here.
Yeah.
We'd already went through hell up in the band. Because back in the day, man, that was one of the things like, and I tell people, I've been doing shows where up here, you'd walk in, it'd be rednecks, big black dudes, and banditos in the audience. And I'd be like, I got to make all three of these groups laugh and not get stabbed. Okay, let's do this. And if I can make all three of them groups laugh at the same time, I was like, that joke can go anywhere. I don't care what anybody. That joke's ready for America. Yeah. And that was really how that's how I built my rep up, man, was just performing for diverse audiences up here in the Panhandle. Yeah. And then writing to jokes where it's like, I'm learning to read a crowd. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem we have right now in Austin with a lot of the young comics. And we talk about this, is that it's so much comedy right now in Austin.
Okay.
And it's blowing up. But there are these little cliques that are formed. And so there's a joke I can do on the west side of 35 downtown. And that'll be the Vulcan, Comedy Mothership, Joe Rogan's club. I can go over to Creek in the Cave. There's like 6 or 7 clubs right there in that just a walking distance of each other that I can go play Sunset Strip, do the same joke, and it'll bang. Mm-hmm. But if I go east of 35, that same joke you just heard may not work. It may not work at all. And so that was our thing that we started learning. I came there looking at crowds and would watch the room fill up. And when I'm watching the room fill up, I'm going, okay, but this crowd looks like this. It's probably what they're going to be making. This crowd's going to be a little bit more conservative. Okay, I know what kind of jokes I want to do to ease them into the crazy stuff I'm going to say. Because to me, comedy, when I was here, they didn't put filters on us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They never filtered us here. We were super unfiltered from day one. But the thing was that they made you learn to read a crowd, because the number one rule, you can say whatever you want to. You better be funny.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Be funny. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was the thing. It was like, yeah, you're going to say something edgy, but if you can say it funny and get 90% of the room to buy in, you're not going to have a problem. Yeah. So I learned to write to be diverse, and there's a lot of dudes that just want to be edgy for edgy's sake, and that's hey, do your thing.
Okay, yeah. So so you brought that up, dude. What I wanted to ask you is that you said you over here in Amarillo you had your banditos in your so like out there in Austin, what kind of other people you got out there?
Man, Austin is so crazy. How do I describe this? If you want every American that exists right now in a room at one time, go watch a show in Austin. Okay. Because you're going to have your tech bros, your college kids, your ultra conservatives, your ultra liberals. Wow. You're going to have the blue-haired girls. Really? Not a lot of black people. I don't know why Austin doesn't have a lot of black audiences, but go look at their numbers. It's not a heavy black audience. Okay. You will have a huge Asian community because Chinese, Vietnamese, Filipino, representing as performers in improv groups and like top shelf of amazing entertainers. Yola Lu comes to mind. That's like one of my best friends in the game, and she's murdering it right now in the scene. And she's doing movies and short films, and she's just acting. She's a great stand-up comic. She's working on a new one-woman show. So it's such a great mix of audience. But the thing is that if you go to, I guess what some people say, well, they're a little bit more woke over there. Okay. And I'll go, okay, that means if we go east, they're going to get a little bit more woke. Yeah, they're going to get a little bit more gentrified, a little bit more woke. They're a heavier audience to try to get a buy-in if you're saying something really crazy and edgy. Yeah. And I was like, okay, great. I want to go in front of them. Because I can break them. I can get a buy-in. But I also don't write to be edgy just to be edgy. I write toward a album and a message that I'm always trying to do on every album. Okay. So a lot of my jokes are going to be able to pick up, max in with any crowd. I don't do political humor. Okay. when I go to a comedy show, I'm trying to get away from politics.
Okay.
I don't want to hear. You could be the world's greatest political humorist. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I just want to get away. I watch the news all week. I'm depressed from it. I want to go to a comedy club. Make me laugh and forget what I saw in the news.
For real.
So how can you make me laugh? You know, and that was the thing. It was a quote that Rodney Dangerfield used to say about a club he played in Jersey. He said, "How do you make a guy named Vinny Three Fingers forget he's up for triple homicide? You got to be funny. Make that guy. If you can make a mob guy laugh, you got it made." Yeah. And so that was how I treated every rep here. And it's like I was like, this is such a diverse crowd. How do I get all three of these groups to laugh? So when I got to Austin and I'd see these mixed groups, I'm already reading the audience. I'm like, well, I know this joke will bring them together. Then I'm going to tear them apart with this joke. And then I'm going to make them come back together against me on this joke. Yeah, so it's like I'm already kind of playing the audience like a musical instrument. I'm like, I want this reaction from you, so I think this joke will get that to get me here. Okay. So it's one of my favorite things to do. I like to literally sit there before the show starts. I kind of get there early enough to meet everybody, talk to them, but I'm watching the audience file into the show, and I'm going, okay, I already know what I'm going to say to you.
Hey, so real quick, so let's start from your early life, man. So again, you were born and raised here, right?
No, man, I didn't get here until 95. I was getting out of the military when I came here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
What had happened was my dad, when I was a kid, we lived in East Texas in a place called Lufkin. That was where I was born.
Okay.
Then we moved to Nacogdoches, and we were there till I was maybe 4.
Oh.
Then we moved to New Orleans. Oh. And I stayed in New Orleans from the time I was 4 until the 4th grade. Mm-hmm. Then we moved to Monroe, Louisiana.
I love Louisiana, dude.
Dude,
I love Louisiana.
Yeah, that was where my whole weird sense of humor started to develop there because it was I had a weird group of friends, man. It was like football players and Cajuns and band nerds.
Nice.
They would all be at my house. And so it was just like, this is just the good cross section of the high school that's hanging out at my house, chilling. And so once you have that diverse of friend group and you're making them all laugh, you're like, well, I'm used to making diverse audiences like me. Yeah. Because I was the people person. We would live somewhere and I'd be like, I may be here a few years. I may be here a year. I may be here 4 years. I don't know how long I'm going to be here because we moved so much with my dad working for the government. Mm-hmm. So I was the friendly guy. I come in, shake hands, kiss babies, make friends, ready to go. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be friends with you guys. But when we got to Monroe, I graduated high school from there. And then I went to the military from there. Okay. And then I went to the military. I was on the board at the USS Tripoli, so I did like several combat action tours. Okay. Oh. And that's when I got out. It was 95, and I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Mm-hmm. So my dad had moved here, and he was managing the Social Security office here. He'd actually become the regional director for the whole Panhandle. Wow. And so he was like, man, you should move to Amarillo with your kids. It's a great place to raise kids. And, he sold me on the whole commercial of the Panhandle. Yeah. His favorite thing to tell me back then, he said, now, you just got to understand, there is no black radio station here. And I said, what? He said, there's a black radio station, but it only plays on the weekend. I was like, what kind of hick town are you moving me to, bruh? And so, like, the Beverly Hillbillies with a mall? What are we talking about right now? And so I got here, and it was like, this is weird. But, before I left, y'all did get a black radio station. But back in 95, y'all didn't have that. Okay, so it was cool.
Okay. Real quick, thank you for your service, by
the way. No, I just wanted to go to college. It's cool.
Straight up, did you serve, so I appreciate it. No, and then, so what, so you just moved here and then that's when you kind of moved to the comedy stuff, right?
Yeah, man, I've been here working all around town. I worked at a Toot and Totem for a while. I worked at a Blue Beacon truck wash out there. Wow. I got my associate's degree at Amarillo College, my bachelor's degree from WT. So I was entrenching myself into the Panhandle. Yeah. But around 2002, what had happened in that Christmas before, I went home for Christmas. I was broke in 2001. You're trying to figure your stuff out.
Yes.
And so I'm just struggling, working jobs, trying to figure it out. Yeah. And then I did a routine about my family being black rednecks. Mm-hmm. I called them, they were all from the East Texas country. And so I was like, y'all are black rednecks. And I did this routine about them. My dad laughed so hard, he he started clutching his ribs, and he was like, hey, you gotta stop. I gotta catch my breath. And so my brother said, hey, come with me and help me get some stuff out the car. And we go out to the car, and I'm thinking we're getting gifts, and we're getting some boxes to put under the tree. And he goes, I've never seen that old man laugh that hard. No. He said, the fact that you did that routine and made him laugh that hard, he said, when we go back to Monroe, he said, when we go back to Amarillo, I need you to find a comedy club there. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. And he said, go up, do the open mic. If you suck, I'll give you $25 and we never talk about it. Okay. And I said, okay, well, what if I'm good? And he said, if you're good, one day if you're real big, buy me a BMW and we'll never talk about why you bought it either. And that was the deal. And so I went to the open mic, and they were like, I said, how long do I get? And they were like, 5 minutes. And I said, okay, well, I only got this one bit about these black rednecks. So I went up and started doing this bit about my country ass family being black rednecks. And they told me, when we light you, the light will come from here with a minute left. So at 4 minutes, that's how you know. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this bit, and it's just going, and the audience is laughing. And I'm like, this is fun. Mm-hmm. But this is a long ass 5 minutes. Where's that light at? Because I'm looking into place for the light. Mm-hmm. Not even paying attention to the audience. I just keep looking in the spot for the light, and the light never shows up. Yeah. But what happened was Kevin Moran, mm-hmm. who was the owner of the club, had come out, and he was listening, and he was hearing the response, and he didn't know who I was. Yeah. So he told him, don't light him. I want to see how much he has. What does he have? Yeah. So they just let me go. Yeah. And then I got to the end of the bit, and I'd probably been up there about 7-8 minutes, and I was like, hey, guys, thank you so much. My name's Roderick Mcdaniel. Y'all have a good night. And I walked off stage. I was like, how long was I up there? And they said, you got to go to the office. And I was like, oh, wow. Did I get in trouble? Did I miss the light? What's happening? They said, no, just go to the office. And so I go in the office and start asking me questions like, hey, where you from? How long you been doing comedy? I went, that was it. This was my first time. Wow. Where did you learn to write jokes? I just wrote that. I didn't learn from anybody. I just wrote what I thought was funny. Yeah. That I watched a lot of specials growing up as a kid. Yeah. And then he's like, I need you back here next Wednesday. Have a new 5. Wow. Well, how long did I just do? What would happen? I made you go long. I wanted to see what you had. Yeah. So y'all, I'm not in trouble. No, y'all just didn't like me. He said, yeah. I said, okay, cool. And so I just came back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And they were really good about teaching you how, like, you're not just writing 5-minute sets, you're writing toward a goal. So mind that stuff. Do you have another take about the family and their black rednecks and adventures like that? And I did. So I started writing those jokes. And what he was teaching me to do was one day move toward, oh, this is a set. Mm-hmm. This is a 15-minute bit that's from my album one day. Mm-hmm. And they were basically boot camping us, teaching us how to write and how to perform and how to build longevity with your sets. You know, like, I'm not just writing a new 5 minutes every week with no purpose. Here's the reason I'm writing this 5 minutes. It's going toward this. So yeah, I loved it. That's how I got to start. And it was such a small scene. You knew every comic in the scene. Mm-hmm. Because we were all working in that same club together, so okay, it was good.
Yeah, and that's crazy, man. That's wild. And then here you are.
Yeah, now 23 years later, I'm still at it.
Yeah. So yeah, of course we have Yellow City Comedy. I don't know if you heard, but they started a Bomb City Comedy here now.
No.
So we have 2. So of course we have YCC, which I'm not a comedian, but I do help those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. I'm not here. When we go to break, I'm gonna try to show you a clip of what I'm doing with those guys.
Yeah.
And then Bomb City. So this guy named Dub came in town, and he wanted to start the comedy scene too here. And then we at first, because I'm part of, I'm friends with those guys, and they're all like, oh, we got a fake guy. He's trying to take us down. Joking and all that. And then he introduced. He's like, hey, this is Dub. He's the Bomb City guy. And Yellow City and Bomb City started, they started not bumping heads. They started like, what do you call it? Coexisting or
Yeah,
they started collab. Yeah, they started working together, and I was like, nice. And that's just so it started. So now, Bomb City does their events. They contract some comedians out here, mm-hmm. and then YCC does their thing here. They just have their comedians, and sometimes they bring outside sources. But I just thought that was cool because I was like, I didn't know that.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, if a scene wants to grow, you got to bring people from outside your scene in.
Yeah,
and it keeps you from stagnating. It keeps your audience invested. That okay, there's some new people we're gonna be able to see. Mm-hmm. And I've gone to scenes where they'll be like, well, we don't want to bring anybody else in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your scene will die. if you don't bring new blood into the scene to shake up your ideas and shake up your writing or to challenge you, if you think you're at the top in your scene, you're not being challenged enough. Mm-hmm. You should always be scared about your position because iron sharpens iron. And in Austin, I'm around so many high-level killer comics every day of the week. I'm at a point when I hit most showcases, in my brain, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be the weakest link tonight. Somebody may not give their best, but it won't be me. I'm going in to kill. Yeah. So you kind of keep that mentality, but that happens when you work around high-level comics from different scenes, putting in their best work everywhere. It challenges you to be better. So I'm glad to hear that they did that, man, because I want comedy to survive and thrive here.
Yeah, well, they're doing their thing, and I'm helping those guys. Yeah. I'm helping those guys, not comment, I'm recording. I'm trying to work them out with that. I'll show here, like I said, here in a minute, I'm going to show you a reaction video of I want you to react to one of the comedians here in a second.
Dude, my favorite thing is everybody says, well, I'm not, doing comedy. Bro, the tech guys are hot right now. Yeah. Because somebody has to record the clips that we're posting on Instagram. Somebody has to help us engineer the sound at every show. Yeah. So tech guys, y'all keeping us above water, bro. Look, I know a lot of tech dudes that are killing it right now in the game.
Yeah. Dude, that's whenever you did your scene here and then you moved. So do you tour all over Texas, kind of like Matt, or no?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm nationally now. So last year I was telling Raul, and earlier we did 47 weeks on the road, and we played about 14 different states. Wow. So, yeah, and then I went to Skank Fest for my second year, the comedy festival. I was there. I was in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Arkansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, you name it, I saw it. Wow. I toured it, man, all the way up to Nevada. Wow. And then just kind of zigzagging across the U.S., man. So.
Wow. And then how long have you been doing this for?
This is year 23, man.
23.
And it's year 23, and this is, I'm going to be honest with you guys, man, it's about to be 24 in May. I'll be having my 24th anniversary in May. Nice. And it's crazy. Well, hold on. No, it is year 23 anniversary in May. It'll be in May. It'll be the 23rd anniversary. And it's the craziest year because I've had way more success this year with, I branched out and I shot a pilot called Waitresses with Colton Dowling and Dylan Carlino. And then I got my first dramatic role in a movie. Oh, wow. Shot that just last month called Recovery, written by Matt Boyd, which a talented writer out of Austin, also former comic I used to work with a lot. And then I became a paid regular at the Comedy Mothership, so I'm a paid regular at Joe Rogan's Club now. So that happened this year. So
nice, man.
Yeah, things are coming along, man. It's working.
Dang, dude. So, so you went to, over time, you performed at Kill Tony, correct?
I've never done an episode of Kill Tony.
Oh, okay.
But Tony and I do, like Skank Fest is all the Legion of Skanks guys. And a lot of big names like David Tell's there, Eddie Pepitone's there, Rachel Feinstein. There's a bunch of comedians coming together for this comedy festival, and it's usually up in Vegas. Last couple of years, and I did 24 in 2023. I did both years at Skank Fest, and I met Tony at both, and so I knew who he was, and there were showcases. I'd be like, oh, I'm on a showcase. I'm the least known guy. My first favorite person I met out of that whole group, Kim Congdon. I love Kim. Kim gives the greatest hugs, and she's an amazing person. Okay, I'm saying it now. Because with the night I did my first paid gig at Mothership, she came up to me and she said, I haven't seen you in forever. Gave me a hug, and I said, I would stab somebody for this woman. I love Kim, dude. She's amazing to me. She's so sweet to me. So so it was like I was doing all this stuff, and everybody said, well, you never did Kill Tony. I went, no, I've just been at it so dang long. I'm just kind of working my way into those circles where I'm where they're at. But then I did Mothership open mics, and that's how I got past. When I'm in town and I'm like, hey, like last year, like I said, 47 weeks, I was only in town 5 weeks. Wow. I did not spend a lot of time in Austin. So I think I went one time when I was home for a weekend. I said, I'm going to be home for 2 weeks. So I went to an open mic then. Adam Eggett, the booking agent, saw me, and he booked me for a cruise show.
Okay.
And then I left, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for coming out." After I did the cruise show, and I said, "Hey, thanks for the opportunity." And then I hit the road again.
Wow.
And then I came back this year for the open mic, and he saw me, and he was like, "No, here's how you are now passed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was telling Ron, I said my brain shut down when they said it to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I hear the words coming out of his mouth, and I understand English, but he was like, "Here, I need you to write this number down," and I was like, I got to take a picture of it. My brain just shut down. Click, click. And then my favorite thing about it is being in this business 23 years, and I still get geeked out when I meet comedians, and even getting past felt big to me, and it felt special to me. And I was just like, oh yeah, that happened.
Okay.
I got my first paycheck from him, and I took a picture of it, and I still haven't cashed it. I took a picture of it, so it's there, and I said, I may deposit it in the next couple of weeks. I may deposit it at the bank, but I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is deposit it over the phone, and then I'm gonna go get that check framed and keep it in my. I want to get up and look at that check every morning when I go to the bathroom and go, yeah, that's what you're working for. You're working to get more of these mothership checks.
Hell yeah, dude. Was it pretty big, or was it just?
It was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some video games.
No, dude, I want to see that, dude. I didn't know you get paid to do that.
Yeah, once you get on, when you do the open mic, you're not paid, man. You're just. But there's the guys that are past. Yeah, you start getting some checks there once you're like, hey, I'm available these weeks, and I can come in these dates for this week, and then they'll book you in there, and those are paid showcases.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, man, your boy be getting paid to tell these dick jokes around the country.
But let's say you bomb, do you still get a check or not really?
Oh yeah, you still get paid, but boy, that bomb sticks with you because I've never done a show there and that audience is not sold out.
Oh, I thought your hand. Oh, just your hand.
Oh
it's
yeah,
covering the mic.
Oh, was it? Yeah. It was. I've never gone in that club, and the whole club is always sold out. Every show is sold out on the show. Okay. So if you bomb in front of a sold out audience, it sticks with you a lot longer.
Oh, okay.
You're personally gonna remember that, and then you'll be like, no, I gotta go up again. But man, it's so many of us, man, in there now. So it's like, I'm not home every week, so it's easy for me to not, I'm not going to be here a lot. But it's nice when I get to do them. Mm-hmm. I love when I get to show up home and say, hey, I'm going to be home for a week. Can I get a spot on here? Let me please. So I love that.
Oh, okay. Dude, so speaking of bomb, so in your early times, man, have you bombed before, like pretty bad?
If a comedian ever tells you they never bombed, they are lying from the pit of their soul.
Yeah.
I've done shows 2020. It'd been a while since I'd bombed. And this one here was one where I'd went in and I was like, literally the worst performance of my life in the last 10 years in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Oh. We're doing this show. And it was a hard run. Like we were on the road for so many days. Mm-hmm. And we're going to run from like Austin up into Oklahoma. We're hitting multiple stops in Oklahoma, going to Colorado, coming back through Texas. It was a long, long run. Mm-hmm. And we're away for days living out of suitcases. Yeah. And I don't remember if it was the second or third show of that run, but it sucked so bad. Yeah. And I remember telling one of my buddies, like, he's like, how was the show in Broken Arrow? I said, I would not be alive if I didn't have to drive Cody home. I'd have just dug a hole in the ground and just put the dirt on myself. I'm going to just sleep here now. Leave me be. Because it was such a bad show. And people still came up to me after the show and said, oh my God, that was so good. And I was like, you're too kind. Yeah. Some people enjoyed it, but me knowing how I normally perform and what kind of show I'm capable of giving you, it was the worst performance I'd ever done.
What was the crowd like? Was it kind of redneckish or?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely. I think I was the only black person in the club that night. So, but that was the thing, man. There were still people that were into me, but it's just like, this is not my best performance. This sucks.
So it was you or just the crowd? I mean,
man, I think I will always say it was me. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to tell you it was not my best, but I was also like, it was a rough run, and me and Cody were on that run together. So we were fighting through so many issues. Like everything that could go wrong was starting to go wrong. The lodging was getting messed up. We had one show, and the guy that booked us wasn't even gonna be at the show. He was overseas on a run through Ireland, so he's not even gonna be. The guy who's booking us for some shows is not even on this run with us. Not gonna be our point of contact at these shows. Yeah. And that was cool, but man, it was just one of those things where there were so many other things going wrong. You know, Cody was in between houses.
Mhm.
And, you know, I was changing my diet, changing medicines, trying to get my health under control because things were starting to pop. And I wanted to be, hey, I want to live longer. I want to be a healthier version, an optimal version of myself on the road.
Yeah.
So there were all these personal changes happening to both of us at the same time this is going on.
Yeah.
And so it was like one of those runs where you go, this is a nightmare run. This is the shows. Where are we staying tonight? Is the place even booked? Okay. Did they forget to book us?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to get paid for this show? How many people are coming to this show? So it was one of those things where you start thinking about the promoter. You're thinking, am I going to have to rob this promoter to get paid? I don't even have a gun. Dude. I gotta go to Toys R Us is closed. Where do I even get a toy gun at this time of night? So we were going through it on that run, and it was just like we still talk about it. I said, but those are the runs that you will know when you go on a nightmare run like that. Mm-hmm. If you can still go up every night and be funny. If there's 7 nights on that you're performing, and you can be funny 6 of those 7 nights, you love comedy. Because man, sometimes when that starts happening to people. I have friends, they were like, yeah, I shut down for the rest of the tour. I bombed the rest of the tour. Okay. And I just like, I had one night where I just sucked. Yeah. And I was like, there's no more excuses. You got tomorrow night to fix this. Yeah. And so for the rest of the run, I had a chip on my shoulder for the rest of the run because I was so disappointed in how I did on the 3rd show. So for the rest of them, everybody that saw me after that 3rd show, they were like, they caught heat. They saw some of my best shows. Yeah. But yeah, I've bombed, dude. I've done shows where like nobody in this room is going to connect to this joke. And then I've done shows where in February I was in Alabama and we did a show in over by Auburn. J.D. McKenna had me at his place and I'm doing this joke. 80% of the audience loves this joke. Mm-hmm. 2 young white ladies from Auburn heard this joke, got up and walked out. And then talk to me after the show. Oh, no. I hate this joke. You can't do this joke. And I was like, ma'am, I don't know if you understand math. But the law of averages says 80% liked it. Mm-hmm. You 2 hated it. Wow. I'm going to keep that joke.
Do you remember the joke? Are you allowed to say it?
Oh, it's rough. Yeah.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, it was a joke I wrote one time where I said, I don't care what the news says. I don't care what the government says. Okay. I 100% support a woman's right to do whatever she wants to do with her body for the rest of her life. Okay. Every time I say that, every woman in the club loses their mind, starts clapping. Okay. I'm on their team. Yeah, okay. And I say, but, and when I say the but, that's when they go, oh, the audience knows what's he about to say now. And I say, I won't eat your coochie if you've had more than 3 abortions because that's going to taste like Flint, Michigan water. Damn. I knew wow. I suckered the whole audience in. Okay. 80% buy-in. These 2 girls are mad. Okay. They get up, walk out. Damn. And then they waited. They don't leave. Uh-huh. They waited till the show ended to talk to me about that joke. Wow. And I was like, lady, she said, do you do that joke all over the country? I said, lady, you are state number 12. Yeah. You're not getting, I've done it in 2 different places in your state on this run. I'd already done that joke in Birmingham. I'd done that joke in Montgomery. You're not about to convince me to not do this joke. Yeah. You better get over it. I just did it in Columbus, Georgia. Wow. So the joke had traveled. It had legs to it. It had been performed in multiple states. Mm-hmm. And so I knew it was a solid joke. It's just one of those jokes that throws you off. It's a hard pitch. It's a hard sell. Mm-hmm. And so she was so mad that the joke actually worked and people liked it. Yeah. And she was so mad that I was not going to, that she couldn't change. She couldn't just be, hi, I'm a hot chick and I'm going to tell you not to do this and you're going to listen. And I was like, ma'am, you don't pay my bills or suck me off. I'm going to keep doing this joke. Okay.
What did they expect whenever stuff like that? Do they expect an apology or money?
I've had people get mad at me about so many jokes, man, that I had one. I watched a couple, I think, break up one time because I told a joke about my best friend who is trans. Okay. And the joke is telling about going through that with my best friend and supporting them, but then bringing a friend to a show. And I said their pronouns were a dirty word. That was their pronouns. Yeah. And so so I said that was their pronouns, and then I tell the story. This lady doesn't hear the joke. Mm-hmm. She just heard me say trans. Okay. And then she in her blue hair fit of rage. She had a look. She had blue hair. You already know what I'm telling you. Okay. She had blue hair, and she was a social justice warrior for people that she felt, I have to defend those people. and then what was funny, she walked out of the show, but her husband stayed, and he loved it. He was laughing uncontrollably. And so my buddy Mike Hudak from Boston was on that show, and he saw her walk out. Mm-hmm. And then he goes out and he's talking to her, and she said, well, I don't think it's right that he said the word trans. And he said, well, you left during the joke. It's not even a joke about the trans community. He said, what I find weird is that you left during the only black comic on the showcase. Now he's putting the pressure to her, and she's like, well, it's not like that. Mike Hudak's giving her the business, dude. And I was like, that's my dog. That's my dog, bro. He gave her the business in the parking lot. So when I was leaving, I saw them outside, and she's like, I can't believe you stayed and you liked this comedy, blah, 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 blah. And I heard him, and he's like, yeah, he's funny. And I looked, and I saw him, and I'm so close to my car, and I said, hey, bro, you could do better than her. Oh. And I ran to my car, and I saw him look at me like, and it was just like, yeah, dude, they're breaking up. They're breaking up, but I want him to be happy, and she's not the one.
Shout out to you, Kevin. Similar story. You know the guy named Kevin Mason? You ever heard of him?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, he told me the similar story.
Really?
He was said a joke, and then the joke didn't land to the colored hair chick. And then, and then their boyfriend, and then they left, and then she wrote a big old a paragraph of how she didn't like that, and he's over here like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, this is my first time where I saw the dude like the joke, and blue-haired girl hated it. And I was just like, which is so weird, because I told that joke at another club, and a trans lady came up to me after the show, and she said, that's how you tell a joke about our community, and you don't punch down. And I went, thank you, you get it. The person who should have been offended loved the joke.
Hey, so real quick before we go to break, dude, I wanted to know this one, because I always ask the comedians this question.
Yes.
When it comes to hecklers, how do you handle that? You know what I'm saying? How do you love hecklers too? I swear, every comedian I bring on, they have hecklers, and they're always like excited, like, oh, I love it. I'm like, really? I can't stand them though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's my thing: they ruined the show for you guys.
Yes.
But I've been doing it so long. I'm gonna tell you a story that happened here in Amarillo.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Okay. I'd come home for a show. I hadn't been here in a while, so I came home for this show. And Austin Eulin was running the show. Okay. So from Yellow City, you know, I was doing the show for him, and there was this girl in the audience, and she would not shut up. She'd been chirping she's not necessarily heckling, but just chirpy, which means every time a comedian would hit a punchline like, and my feet stink, she'd be like, his feet stink, right? She'd just be like, we heard, we don't need any seasoning on the joke. We got it. Yeah. So she had been chirping all night and kind of little heckling. And I was like, y'all better do something about her before I get to the stage, because I'm going to hurt her feelings. Oh, no. And they were like, no, dog, it'll be okay. I said, no, it will not be okay. Do something about her. Nobody did anything. There was no security to go bounce her from the table. And I go, okay, great. I'll handle it. Uh-oh. So hopefully y'all warned her. So nobody warns her. I go get up on stage. I'm doing my joke, and she starts. Uh-huh. And you remember how Tim Tebow would take a knee and start praying? Mm-hmm. I took a knee on stage in the middle of my comedy. I said, dear God, it's me, Roderick. I know it's been a while since we talked. If you could do me a favor, I just need you to shut that bitch up on the second row. You don't have to kill her, but just give her a stroke that lasts to the end of my set, so I can finish and everybody else in here can enjoy the show without her talking.
Oh, you said that in front of everybody?
I said that in front of the whole club. I'm just praying out loud into the mic in the Tim Tebow pose. Whole club erupts into laughter. She leaves. She gets up, walks out. The two girls with her stayed at the table and finished the show. Yeah. So she solo marched out, and then the show finishes. And back that time, I'd had a rule like, hey, if I'm on stage and anybody wants to buy me a shot, just collect the money or send tea up. Don't send a drink up, like a Coke but no rum in it. Just send something that looks like I'm drinking a drink from a tumbler, but I don't want alcohol while I'm performing. And they, when they were paying me at the end of the show, they gave me extra $84. And I went, what's this from? He said, it was all the drinks people bought you for taking that girl out. And I said, what? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, who was it? And the promoter tells me, oh, that's my girlfriend. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, she had it coming. Thanks. And so the next day I'm like, oh, they're never booking me again. I just burnt this man's woman to the point where she left. Yeah. And he said the next day, I called him. I was like, hey, man, I'm so sorry about your girl last night. He said, oh, it's okay. We broke up last night. Yeah. I said, what happened? He said, she was so mad that I wouldn't defend her when you did that. And I told her, you want to be a comedian, go to an open mic. Yeah. But don't do it when a professional's on stage because you're setting yourself up for that. Yeah, straight up. And she never went to an open mic and they broke up. And he said, no, man, you did me a favor. He said, if you were here, I'd give you another $100 right now. And I was like, yeah. So, and that's happened multiple times. Yeah. I've burnt hecklers so bad that they never went to comedy shows or they broke up with the person that laughed at them. Yeah. So, yeah, I get hyped. Yeah, sometimes when I see a heckler, it's like, look, I want to do my show and not be mean to you. Yeah. I've worked real hard to give these people that paid this money for tickets 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. Let me do my show and you be quiet. You're not the star. Yeah.
We have a comedian named Javier Zamora, and we were doing an open mic out here. Yeah. And this dude was just, him and this dude were just talking and talking and talking. And I'm here, while they're doing their thing, I can hear this. And I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, dude, the hell? Anyways, Javi brings up the next person. They're still going. Javi brings up the next person. These guys are still going. And then before the other person comes up, Javi grabs the mic. Everyone give a round of applause for these guys that keep talking. And and then you're like, yeah, these guys have been talking all this. And these guys just look. And then they stay quiet. And I'm just like, thank you, Javi. Thank you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'll burn you. If you're a heckler, I will burn you. And it's not, I promise you, I got 23 years of burning people. You're not going to win against me, okay? and I've seen crazy stuff, man. Oh, yeah? I've seen comedians that burn people so bad where it was like, that man's family better stay with him tonight. Just watch him through the night. Yeah, I've seen some decimation of character in comedy shows from comedians. So I'm like,
I wonder why they come to a paid show when they do that.
Bruh, here's my thing, man. A lot of people, if you want to see a narcissist in action, it's the heckler at a comedy show. They think they are funnier and cannot stand not being the center of attention. And they show up at a show as your heckler. And they think, I'm funnier than anything on this stage. Yeah, but you're not going to go put in the work that I did. You didn't go to the open mics. You didn't tour. You didn't write. You don't do anything. You just had this self-imposed superiority complex. And we're like, no, bro. I didn't do this for 23 years and play every redneck bar in America for you to come think you're going to get a star role on my show. No. You will be a star, but you're not going to want your role.
Dude, I remember, so one of your back when you came here, right? Yeah. And I'll never forget this set you said. You're all like, I'm never coming back to Amarillo. I'm never coming back. And then you said this, does Amarillo still have a midnight rodeo? And then the whole crowd, no. And then one person, it's a church now. And then you're all like, it's a church now? Well, that's the most Amarillo thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, dude.
Amarillo is like, it shows me so much love. And like, we're here at Yellow City Comic Con, and I'm having a blast, and I run into so many of my friends. But yesterday, and today, I jumped up this morning. I drove around town, and I was like, why is Coulter this long? Yeah. Coulter used to never have anything out here. Yeah. So I literally just drove around town, went and looked at all my old apartments, and I was just like, oh, this is, and I called my boys and said, oh, y'all got y'all a real city now. They said, we've always been a city. I went, no, y'all were a town. Yeah. Austin is a city. Y'all were a town. You're a city. Now you're going through puberty. Now you're a real city. And I give Amarillo the beef every time I'm here, but man, a lot of my friends, lifelong friends, still live here. I started comedy here. I raised my kids here. A lot of friends and family still live in the Panhandle. So I'm always going to have connections to it, but I'm at the point now, it's like, if I can't give y'all the business, who will? Because y'all, man, Amarillo put me through it during the pandemic. Like, y'all were wilding out up here during the pandemic.
Yeah, we really were.
Yeah, and y'all were on the news, and then I'd be at comedy shows and say, hey, man, aren't you from Amarillo? And I'd be, hey, keep that down. Everybody here everybody gonna make assumptions about who I am if you keep saying that out loud. So.
Yeah. Real quick, dude, let's go to break. We're way past time. We'll go to break. Thank our sponsors. Even though cool. I don't have sponsors, by the way. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. All right, guys. So real quick, I want to show you. I just want you to react to 2 videos. Okay.
Okay.
So I recorded these videos. They're open mics. This one I showed this one on my other episode, and it's this guy. His name is Jacob Rapstein. Okay. He is very unfiltered comedian. He's like, he don't care. he's very
okay. I'm ready. I'm getting my brain ready for this one.
Okay, give me a sec. So let me connect real quick.
Okay.
Because this is also a Bluetooth thing. If I can remember how to use it. But no, we have a really good set. We have a good comedians out here. What is it called? There it is. We have a good crew. You haven't seen any of the comedians here, have you?
No, man. Outside of Matt and Austin, and there was like 2 other kids that I met when I was here with them, and I'd have to call them to even get their names again. Okay. It wasn't a lot of cats out of Amarillo I got to see go up or do time. So that's why Cody and I have been wanting to come back and work with these groups, man, instead of just doing our independent thing that we do.
You should.
We would love to work with them because that's how we, hey, if I know you and then I see you go up and I go, oh, that's a solid cat. Well, then somebody asks me, hey, I'm cutting through there. I can throw a name out. Well, you need to talk to so-and-so. Yeah. Because, dude, some of the greatest gigs I've been booked for were the things where I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So this guy, he's a white boy. He's somewhat not racist kind of deal.
Okay.
I showed this for them. Listen.
Oh, I didn't really want to come up here, and I hate when people use hard R's, right, Calvin? Someone said tomatoes to me the other day, and then they said taters, and then Javi said the N-word, and I was like, I'm gonna tell Calvin, dude. That's I didn't really want to come up here.
That's one of the guys. Very unfiltered. But that's a small clip. I don't want to show the whole thing because copyright. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. I recorded it. So this guy's
You're not hitting him with the tomato joke, man. Potato. No, he didn't.
He's the guy Calvin. He's another black dude that goes to black club. He's always like that though. But this is my buddy. His name is Javi. I won't show you the whole thing, but I'm gonna start doing reactions. I'm gonna do clips of reactions of comedians. Let's see this. But this is the only one I got. So the next comedian, you'll get more. Okay. All right. So this is Javier.
Inches. Have y'all heard about this? Exactly. Do you think he was pissed off when he woke up and he was just 6 inches taller and his dick wasn't any bigger? He's like, what did y'all do to me? I don't know if y'all heard how they do this shit, but they have to break your legs and then you grow. But like they said that after you have it done to you, like you have to learn to like walk again and like your depth perception's all off. How many times do you think that dude's pissed all over the bathroom floor since he's had that surgery, man? Do you think they're just like leaving those puppy pads out everywhere for him?
No, bro. Come on. No.
Oh, man.
That's all I wanted to show you.
Not the puppy pads, dog. Come on, some more. Come on, bro.
That was funny to see, but I have more.
I like seeing that, man, because that feels raw. That feels like an open mic the way it should be. It's like, no, man, we out here trying the craziest jokes, man. And dude, I go into some where you would just be like, this sucks. I've been to some open mics where I was like, this place caught on fire right now. Yeah. Well, I'd be happy.
He told me, we had a conversation one day, and he was like, what, my goal is to open up all open mics here in Amarillo, Monday through Friday, and then weekends, events. And what he did was he did it. Well, almost. He got a mic going Tuesdays. That's called the Circus Room here in Amarillo.
Okay.
And that's, that's fun. And then Wednesdays, they do the Crack and Crab. We have a Crack and Crab here. Yeah. It's on Sansi, and it's shrimp boy seafood food.
Yeah.
And then they do it every other Wednesday over there. And
dude, that's dope.
Yeah, and then on Thursdays they do another one. It's called the Bliss. It's a kind of a nightclubish, and they do open mic out there too.
So they're all open mics?
Yes.
Bro, see, we have 7 days a week in Austin of open mics, but there's almost a showcase running too every night. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, man, to me, it's hard because like half the time, like I said, 47 weeks on the road in 2024, I'm hardly in town to catch a mic. I'd do better to be cutting through here on a Tuesday night and go, hey, I need to find that mic.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be sleeping here tonight in a hotel room on my way to Colorado. I should just go do the mic in Amarillo.
Oh, okay.
So that because I've cut through here quite a bit last year on my way to other places. Like, I'm going to New Mexico, well, I'm going to stop in Amarillo. That's 8 hours away. I'll stop there for the night. So it'd be nice to know, I can go catch a mic there tonight. I can go do that mic. So, yeah, Yellow City, y'all reach out to me, bro. Hit us up.
Colin. Yeah, this is a clip. Colin.
Hit me up.
For sure, dude. So, okay, now here's my next question because I know we got to wrap things up. Okay, you have a podcast, correct?
Yes.
So how does that work? Like, how does every week, every other week? What's up?
We shoot every week pretty much. It's called Pain Management Podcast. It is on the Creek in the Cave TV on YouTube. It is also on every streaming podcast platform. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're everywhere. And it started as we had a friend of mine unalive itself. And I had been doing comedy, like I said, this is year 23, and I've had a lot of friends do it. And so it always comes down to mental health issues. And so it's so weird how when, I've struggled with mental health issues, and my buddy Jimmy Monahan, who does it with me, has struggled. And we started talking about, what if we just talked about it? Because talking about it isn't going to make you do it. Not talking about it seems to be what's making us do it. So we're going to talk about it and normalize it, and we're going to have the hard conversations and really talk about our fears and the things that have destroyed us and how we survived it. And then comics start coming to sit down with us and talk to us. And the names have gotten bigger, and we've had Rachel Wolfson and Matt Egger and Drew Nickens and Heath Cordes have sat down with us. Yola sat down with us. Yola Lou sat down with us. Ryan Cameraman came out, one amazing killer comic, sat down with us. And each week a different comedian sat down and talked to us about it. And it was cool because in the first year I started getting calls from friends of mine that, they were tough, manly dudes. They'd never talk about, I'm struggling with depression. And a bunch of them started seeking help and talking about it in my personal life. And I said, with the podcast, it's starting to make some headway. And man, we did our second season. We're in the middle of our second season right now, and it's going well. And the names, like, we're at the point now where they're starting to come to me and go, who's a dream list comic you want to talk to? And then they're actually reaching out to them. So it's coming along, man. We're having a good time, just being sad boys. Just being sad, talking about our sadness.
Okay, guys. All right, so my last question to you, man, is, bro, okay, what's next for you, man? What do you see yourself doing from here on in?
Well, man, I've done 3 albums, and I shot a special, and it's available on YouTube that I'm Here to Warn You with 4x3 Media. And so every year I try to come up with a new plan. What do I want to do this year? What's next? We were flirting with the idea because last year I wrote so much material. I had 82 minutes of material, and I did it at the end of the year in a show in Terlingua, where I went out and did the full 82-minute set. And then I kind of flirted with the idea of doing 3 30-minute specials in 2025. We're just going to record them, drop them on Spotify, digital platforms only, and just keep it trucking. But then I picked up my first acting roles, and I shot a pilot for Waitresses, and then I did the small film Recovery. And then some people hit me up about 2 more parts that I'm up for. And so then I was like, I think I want to I don't want to quit comedy. I'm going to be doing this when I'm old and gray. I'm already halfway there. I'm halfway there. I got to get a little bit older. But yeah, I just want to keep doing stand-up and pushing myself to keep writing better, the kind of jokes where I can keep a whole audience connected. But I also want to step into acting more. It's new, it's different, and I also want to do, this is weird, I don't know who's going to see it, so I'm saying it here. If you know someone that books Hallmark Christmas movies, I just want to play a shopkeeper in one, okay? It is my jam. I have a whole joke about it. I want to do one Hallmark Christmas movie. And so acting is the only way I'm going to get to that role. And so I'm like really hyped to kind of test myself in acting more and more, taking on some dramatic roles and stuff, because I just want to do a Hallmark Christmas movie one time. And when I get it, then I'm going to be like, game's over. Going back to comedy full time. I did what I came to do, baby. But yeah, that's it, man.
Okay. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on here, bro. I
really
do.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate this, and if I'm ever coming back, I'll let you know. I'll come sit down again, man. This was amazing.
Oh yeah, I've had a great time. We did. So whenever I know I'm having a good time, the time goes by quick.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, I'm chopping. Oh, heck yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It was a good one.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on. You can even bring a guest if you want, if you come back here. I plan to go to Austin and bring this over there. So I'm just letting you know, I'll hit you up if I do. Because I talked to Matt about that. And I really want to, bring my stage. I was going to try to get an Airbnb that's a good size and then send this over here. And
I would tell you right now, if you know you're coming, I'll rack up some gas for you. Yeah. We can do this, dude. Okay. Yeah, bring it, man, because it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be like a 4-day day.
Yeah, man. I know some people there's so many comics, and that's the thing. You could throw a rock in a crowd and hit like 4 good comics, and so we could do that. I feel that phone ringing. I know that's them calling.
Okay, we'll go.
I felt that on my hip.
I appreciate you. All right, man. You want to shout out to anybody?
Man, I'll just tell you guys, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, best place to find that is go to my Instagram page at Coach Silky, and there'll be links to my Facebook, my specials, everything you need. My link tree will be there. At Coach Silky, all lowercase, CoachSilky. Also, if you want to watch comedians open up about their feelings, Pain Management Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on all the platforms. And man, thanks for having me on here, man.
All right, man. You have a good one, bro. You be safe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. A lot of applause for my boy. We'll see you later. Peace out. Go follow the guy, please.
Yes.
The way you're moving me, I've been thinking about you day and night. I can't get